The impossible tree. The helicopter descended through clouds thick enough to resemble smoke. Below them, the Amazon stretched endlessly toward every horizon, an ocean of green untouched by roads, cities, or anything that resembled modern civilization. From above, the canopy appeared almost smooth, concealing the violence of the world beneath it. Ethan sat near the open side hatch, gripping the edge of his harness, while warm wind roared through the aircraft. Across from him, Karen stared silently at the jungle below. She had barely spoken since the briefing. Catfish sat beside several stacked supply crates, calmly chewing dried cassava, while the helicopter shook violently through turbulence. You look nervous, dirt dude." "I'm reconsidering every life decision that brought me here." Catfish grinned. "That means your instincts still work." Ethan almost smiled. Almost. Beyond them, Jake continuously adjusted a handheld compass that refused to settle in one direction for more than a few seconds. Janet and Molly sat reviewing topographic printouts spread across their laps, while Merrill leaned against the rear cabin wall with his eyes closed, conserving energy. No one talked much. The deeper they travelled into the rainforest, the quieter everyone became. Even the pilot seemed uneasy. The helicopter's instrument panel flickered briefly. One of the pilots muttered something in Portuguese. The other responded. "Again?" Karen finally looked up. "What happened?" "Navigation drift," the pilot answered quickly. "Nothing serious." But Ethan noticed the way both pilots exchanged glances afterward, as though they did not believe themselves. The clouds parted suddenly. The canopy below opened into a narrow break, where Catfish's preliminary camp waited beside a winding river barely visible through the trees. The helicopter banked sharply. The moment it crossed above the clearing, every headset inside the aircraft exploded with static. A violent shriek tore through Ethan's ears. Then came whispering, fragmented, layered, hundreds of overlapping voices speaking just beneath comprehension. Jake ripped off his headset immediately. "What the hell is that?" The pilot struggled with the controls. The helicopter dropped several meters abruptly before stabilizing again. Then silence returned. No explanation, no visible malfunction, only silence. The pilots refused to make eye contact with the passengers after that. They unloaded equipment quickly, too quickly, like men eager to leave. As Ethan stepped onto the rainforest floor for the first time, heat wrapped around him instantly. Not ordinary heat. Pressure. The air felt thick enough to drink. Moisture clung to his skin within seconds, while the sounds of insects and distant wildlife merged into a living wall of noise surrounding them from every direction. Yet beneath it all, Ethan sensed another sound. Something deeper, slow, rhythmic, almost too low to hear, like breathing. The helicopter lifted off moments later, vanishing rapidly above the canopy. The silence that followed felt enormous. Catfish adjusted the straps on his pack and looked toward the dense wall of trees surrounding the clearing. "Well," he said softly, "we're officially guests now." Nobody laughed. The first day inside the forest passed slowly, painfully slowly. Progress through the terrain felt less like hiking and more like negotiating with something alive. Massive roots twisted across the ground like petrified serpents, while curtains of vines blocked visibility in every direction. Nothing appeared random. That bothered Ethan immediately. The forest possessed patterns, subtle ones. Trees growing at strangely consistent intervals. Clusters of identical flowers appearing every few hundred feet. Insects moving in synchronized spirals before vanishing all at once. Even the sounds repeated. Bird calls, branch creaks, distant knocking echoes, always in sequences. Karen noticed it too. He could tell by the way her eyes kept drifting sideways, silently counting. Near sunset, they reached Catfish's temporary camp, beside a narrow Blackwater stream. The camp itself looked ordinary enough, canvas shelters, fire pit, supply tarps, hanging cookware. But the surrounding jungle did not. The trees near camp leaned inward slightly, not enough to notice immediately, just enough to feel, like listeners gathering closer around a conversation. Jake crouched beside the stream. "This water's wrong." Molly sighed. "Meaning?" Jake dipped his fingers into the black surface. "It's warm." Everyone paused. He was right. The stream should have been cool beneath the dense canopy. Instead, it felt faintly heated, almost body temperature. Catfish spoke quietly while unpacking supplies. "The locals won't drink from this section." "Locals?" Ethan asked. Catfish nodded. "The lokes." That word again. No one pressed him further. Not yet. Night arrived quickly.